guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sylvie. So I'm already moisturized. I'm just gonna go in and prime with the Revlon Prime Plus Perfecting and Smoothing Primer. I really like this. It's not too heavy and it doesn't feel slippery on the face. It just kind of nicely smooths things out and it feels a little bit hydrating as well. So I'm just putting it in the areas that I tend to have a bit of texture and dryness. So just to give you a little update on my life right now, I feel like I've been really inconsistent. I mean, non-existent with filming videos. Mostly because I am 8 months pregnant right now. I'm like 4 weeks away from my due date. So that's what it's looking like. Yeah, this past year has been a little bit crazy. And you know, with COVID and everything being shut down, and then I got pregnant and I just felt really sick and unmotivated in my first trimester. I'm just going in here with the Makeup Revolution liquid highlighter. This is in liquid luminous gold. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on the high points of my face, a little bit on the Cupid's bow. Yeah, so yeah, I just felt really unmotivated and tired and fatigued all the time. So and then with not being really able to do makeup or properly work during COVID, I just think I was a little bit overwhelmed and also just, yeah, not really excited about life. And it's really hard for me to make content and videos when I'm not really feeling inspired or excited. And there would be days when I would try and then I would just be like, oh, this is so much work. And yeah, I think my mind was just on pregnancy and just planning for that. So for foundation today, I'm mixing two different ones just because I don't have my right shade right now. I'm just gonna mix the Makeup Forever HD foundation in the shade Y405. And I'm mixing that with the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiance Serum. And this one is in Golden Vanilla. This is a little bit too light for me, so yeah, I really need to get a proper shade for that. Dot some all over the face. And just a tiny bit of this one to balance things out. So yeah, that's kind of been my life for this past year. I'm really sad that it's taken me this long to start filming again, but yeah, I just thought that I have 4 weeks left before I'm due and I really want to get out another couple of videos. Yeah, I don't know how crazy things are gonna be when Little Peanut is here. That's our nickname for her because we haven't really picked a name yet. Yeah, I just want to get some creative energy out before I am sleep deprived and can't anymore. Pregnancy has made me really tired and lazy, and honestly, I could not be bothered to sit here for a million years and put on foundation with a bunch of different brushes and try to be careful around my color correcting. So what I do now is I just blend out my foundation really quickly, and then I color correct after, and I find that it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So as you can see, my skin is pretty evened out. I still have a bit of grayness around my mouth and my eyes. So next I'm gonna go in with my L'Oreal True Match eye cream and a concealer. This one was a tricky product for me because I was really excited to have something that was color correcting that was just skincare, and it's not as thick as a concealer. So this one is in the shade N56 medium, and you can see it's a pretty orangey warm tone. There's a learning curve with this concealer because it is the consistency of an eye cream, so it doesn't quite blend the way that a concealer does. Once you do get the hang of it, the way that it absorbs and dries, it just looks so natural and flawless. And I put a little bit right there, a little bit there, and then just on the lids So it's a very, very thin consistency. Like, I'll start blending it and it kind of takes the coverage away. So what I'm gonna do is just let it sit there for a moment. And I know it's a eye cream concealer, but because of the thin texture of it, I like to use it to color correct on my face too, around my mouth. So just gonna go in. I know it looks like I'm putting on a lot, but honestly it blends out to nothing. So I'm just gonna do my eyes first. So I'm just like very, very lightly rubbing that in like I would an eye cream. Then I can go in with a brush and just sort of smooth it out once it's set a little bit. And I'm just kind of patting that. Okay, so just going in with the other side. Dense concealer brush actually does a pretty good job, so I'm just gonna use that for the rest. So yeah, it definitely takes a little bit of time to blend out, but it's pretty seamless. And then I just go in with my blender and just lightly press everything in. And by now, that creamy texture will have started absorbing into your skin, so it should be easier to blend out without it moving around too much. So that's what it looks like. So it still just looks like my skin, but it's really well corrected. Like, it hasn't added any weird extra texture or coverage around my eyes. So, and then to conceal, I'm going in with my L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. I just put like a couple dots there, and then I do go and blend that out first because I don't want it to dry too quickly. So yeah, I'm due in 4 weeks, having a baby. Feels weird. I feel like I'm gonna miss being pregnant because it honestly hasn't been too bad, other than that first trimester fatigue. Like, I think I've had a pretty easy and healthy pregnancy, and yeah, I would love to do like a pregnancy series and everything that I've kind of learned and gone through, because I think that you know, especially for a first-time mom, there's so much information and what people say you need or don't need. And I've, like, my husband and I are very low-key and minimal, so we've definitely found that there's a lot of stuff that we don't need. And like, we're going to be raising this kid for the first year in our 1-bedroom apartment. Yeah, so we are not going too overboard. Honestly, I don't really feel like a baby needs a whole lot of stuff the first year, but likely we will have to move to a bigger place next year. So conceal my eyelids as well. And this, because it sets itself, it acts as a really good eyeshadow primer. I mean, I will still powder my crease, but yeah. So next I'm just gonna bronze up my face with my Makeup Revolution Fast Base foundation stick. I'm just gonna use this shade here. I think it's F15, but I'll have to look it up and put it on the description box. I really should have labeled these. I'm just gonna mix some of my L'Oreal Age Perfect foundation into it. And then I'm just taking this dense sort of small brush here, and I'm just taking like a tiny bit and really start with a small amount at a time, and just gonna bronze up my face here. So you can see I'm not really picking up any extra product. I'm just taking whatever's left on the brush and just bronzing up my face. Along with just setting up slowly, I'm trying to cook 1 one freezer meal a day just to stock up some like frozen slow cooker meals and casseroles for those first few weeks that she's here, because we're not going to have any time to cook. And because of COVID, we're not really planning to have any visitors for the first month. So yeah, and like even for people dropping off food, like I really don't want to encourage too much contact or visitation in that first month, because she's going to be super young and really vulnerable to sickness. I'm just kind of prepping now that we're about a month away, and I figure that if I like cook one meal, I don't know, a few days a week, 5 days a week, then I'll have enough stashed away for the first few weeks that we're trying to get into the groove of things. So I'm just lightly bronzing up the areas that I just want to recede. To set the cream bronzer, I'm just going in with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I am mixing both the deep bronzer and the original bronzer shades, because the deep one's a little bit too dark for me right now. So I'm just taking this e.l.f. complexion brush. It's just like a fluffy brush. And then I'm just gonna dip into both the shades here. And I'm just pressing that. I don't want to drag anything and move the product, so just lightly pressing that in. Yeah, you can't go wrong with this bronzer. It's just really buttery and smooth and very skin-like, because it's not really matte. They did come out with a matte butter bronzer recently, and I'm really curious what that one's like. Just gonna shade underneath the lips a little bit. I'm also going to contour the tip of my nose a little bit, make it look snatched. Okay, next is going in with one of my new favorite products. It's the Revlon Skin Lights highlighter. Look at that, it is gorgeous. Just taking that on the very high points of my cheekbones. Like, come on. So after I do my highlighter, I always like to go back in with a little bit more of the bronzer. This time I'm just taking the lighter shade, and I just want to diffuse everything here, because I don't like the highlighter coming down too far on my cheek, so just blend a bit of that away. Then for blush, I'm going in with the Milani Rose Blush in Tea Rose. So it's just this really lovely pink color. Yeah, I'm gonna try and pump out a couple more videos over the next few weeks. I mean, I have no idea when labor's gonna hit. I mean, that's super unpredictable. So I guess we'll see. And then once that's done, I like to just take the deeper bronzer. I like to contour out the cheekbones a little bit, especially since my cheeks are a little bit fuller these days. I want to add a little bit of definition. I'm just gonna smooth out any creasing under the eyes. You don't want to set creases, because then they'll be there all day. I'm taking my Makeup Forever HD powder. I didn't used to like this before, because I was like, is it actually even setting, because it's super fine and light, but now I kind of prefer it because I don't really like that heavy powder look. So just tapping that in with a fluffy brush here. And then with the rest, I just take the powder on my brow bone and crease area. And I like to leave the lid a little bit bare of powder because I really want any shimmer that I put on there to stick well. And I'm only setting the areas that I tend to get shiny. I don't want to take away any like glow from the face. Okay, now you don't really have to do this step, but I'm feeling a little bit excessive today. So I'm taking my NYX No Filter powder in medium olive. So I'm just taking some on my blender here. And I'm just gonna carve out underneath my cheeks. So I'm not taking it all the way up. Can't talk while I do this. What this is going to do is, like, as you can see, it really defined that contour and bronzer. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to get it symmetrical sometimes. And then just patting the rest in to just those creases there. So yeah, what this is gonna do is just kind of define the cheekbones a little bit more, and then it also sets the jaw area. And because this is not like a very drying powder, it's super light, it's not going to take any of that healthy look away from the face. So I'm just gonna leave it there for a little bit, and then I can come back later and just brush it off. Just gonna brush off that powder. I'm just gonna go in with that Revlon highlighter and just brighten up the inner corners. Holy crap, I think I used way too much there. This is the problem with not using a mirror and just relying on your camera. Whatever, I think that's fine. And then just taking some on the brow bone and a little bit on the Cupid's bow here. So I'm using my Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in Molten Peach. So it's like a really like pinky peach highlighter, and it's also got little bits of glitter flecks in it, so I don't often use it on my face, but it's so pretty on the eyes. So just lightly pressing that in. And because I left that concealer on my eyes unset, it's clinging onto the highlighter really well, because this highlight is not really meant to be blinding. I'm really looking forward to the next 4 weeks. It's gonna be bittersweet because I really want my daughter here now, but at the same time, you know, we realize that this is probably gonna be like the last bits of quiet that we have. So I'm just trying to cherish this time and get in as much rest as possible that we're not gonna get in about a month. So for the crease color, I'm just gonna go in with my Physicians Formula bronzer, and I'm just gonna go in with that deeper shade that I used earlier. Just on a fluffy brush and just lightly define the crease. Yeah, so it's interesting everything that we're learning about labor and birth, and you know, it's crazy because like when you get pregnant, I don't know about everyone else, but I researched the heck out of everything with like labor, delivery, pregnancy. I'm a pretty independent person when it comes to that stuff, so I get really eager, and then I just want to know everything. It's crazy how when you get pregnant, it's like everyone has opinions and things that they feel entitled to, I don't know, just like blast onto you, and they're not always positive things. And you know, labor can be scary, and I think a lot of women have such a huge fear of giving birth, which is normal. You know, it's a painful, it can be a scary thing, but you know, God created our bodies for this, so I'm just trying to trust that it's gonna be okay, and I'm trying to be positive. It doesn't help when a lot of people, you know, they're well-meaning and they're just trying to be funny, but they say things like, oh my gosh, you know, are you going to be able to push out the baby if it's really big, or oh, it's going to be so painful. I'm like, yeah, I'm pregnant and a woman. I know it's going to be painful. I've researched everything there is to research about labor and giving birth and everything that could go wrong and all the horror stories. The last thing we need as first-time moms is negative comments and like fearful comments or people putting their fears on us, because it's already scary and we're the ones who are going to be going through it. So yeah, I just wish that people would be a little bit more sensitive about that, because you know, the more you panic during labor, the harder it is and the more pain you feel, and more interventions you might end up needing. And yeah, it's just best to have support and be relaxed, and I just wish people would be more like positive and supportive of birth and labor. We don't need more fear in our lives. And then I'm just going into my e.l.f. Matte for Matte palette. So you can see my most loved brown shade here, and I'm just gonna just use a tiny blender brush and dip into it a little bit. I just want to define my lash line a bit, so just focusing that on the outer half and just smoking out the lash line a little bit. So yeah, I'm just trying to really practice some relaxation and breathing stuff, and you know, I was never really into like meditation or anything, but I've been finding that it's been really helpful and getting me just very relaxed, and sometimes I just like fall asleep in the middle of it, which is crazy because I've been having a really hard time sleeping, crazy insomnia. Just running a little bit on the bottom lashes as well. I'm just taking this lighter color so I can just diffuse that out. But yeah, just I'm trying to prep as much as I can, doing yoga and exercises and walking just to keep my body mobile and limber, and I really think that it's helped a lot in keeping this pregnancy more comfortable. Yeah, and I think, you know, labor and delivery, no matter what, it's going to be unpredictable and you can't really plan for it. So yeah, I'm just doing my best to prepare with what I know, and I think that the more you learn and the more that you prepare yourself with what is to come and what might happen, it just gives you a little bit more confidence with going into it. So for the most part, oh sorry, I am using the L'Oreal Voluminous Million Lashes. It does a great job of separating and lengthening the lashes. Yeah, so for the most part, I think all the prep and learning I have done with pregnancy has made me feel more confident and comfortable. But yeah, I'm hoping for some good support on the day of delivery so that I can be as calm as humanely possible while trying to give birth to a freaking baby. I really don't want to have to use meds or an epidural, but of course for a first pregnancy you never know, it can be harder, so I'm totally open to that. Like, I have a birth plan, but I know that it might not go exactly as planned, and I'm trying to keep it as short as possible, because the more you try to plan, the more things won't stay according to your plan, because this is Mother Nature. But you know, trying to be positive. So for lips, my go-to literally every single day for this past year has been the Milani lip liner. This is in the shade All Natural. So first I like to just fill in the entire lips with the nude color. And then I'm going in with my NYX lip liner in the shade Brown. It has been used a lot. And then I just sort of blend the edges. And I'm essentially just contouring the lips. And then the top, I keep, again, close to the natural lip line. I always take a little bit of the blush that I used on my face, just on a fluffy brush, and I just lightly tap it over that, just to add a little bit more opacity in the color, and also just to like set everything in. And just some more blush. Okay guys, that is the finished look. This is kind of my go-to makeup now every day when I feel like putting some effort into it. So thank you for watching and hanging out with me today and listening to me chat. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And yeah, if you're new, just do subscribe to my channel and support me here if you want to see more videos. And I'm really looking forward to creating more content for you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.